Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to flip number. What are we on now? I think it's 44. And this is the beginning of my 2016 Fibonacci. I used to use altered composition books, used them all last year, and this year I just decided to go a bit smaller, try something new, so I'm using a Midori insert, and it's about half the size of a composition book. I'm still trying to get used to it, still haven't decorated the cover, still haven't even thought about decorating the cover, but we'll just get into it for this year. So this is what the Midori looks like. It's a 002 Midori insert, and it has gridded paper, just because I like the grids. Because that way I can write either, sorry for the glare, up and down or across or whatever, and I have to have lines. And even then I don't write straight half the time. But anyhow, this is my welcome page. Welcome to 2016. And I've also decided to do different backgrounds than I used to do. I used to use a lot of colored pencils and coloring in the backgrounds, and then this year I decided to get some Tim Holtz Distress stains and use them. I really enjoy the way that Courtney on The Little Ink does her books, and I really like the way that Allie Brown does her, journaling. And so, even though they don't do, Fibonacci, but they do, journaling. And so anyhow, so here's my page, and I used a clip out from a magazine, and just decorated it some. I'm trying to use up some stuff too, like the different die cuts that I have, and magazine clippings I have, and stickers that I have. And so, yeah, I'm doing things quite differently this year, so we'll see how it goes. And then here, I'm not crazy about these pages, and I hate that when you start a book and it's like, you're trying to get used to it, and then you don't care for the pages that you do at the very beginning of it. Anyway, so this is another magazine cutout. I just like it because it's an underwater scene, and it's pretty. And so over here, I did, if you can see it, like I did, goals for this year, and just some lettering down here. And then this page here, like I used a cutout, and I learned that I do not like this green stain. I'll probably use it for something else, but just not in this book. I don't like it. It's too dark, and I don't like writing slanted, and anyway, so that's how it turned out. And this, I was given this little vellum sweet quote from Gail on the group, so that was nice, and I just put it on some painted papers that I had from a digi, printed paper digi thing. And so I did that, and we were down in the Keys this day, I believe, January 1st, and we were still in the Keys, so we had a lunch at one of the favorite places that we like to go to, and then we headed home the next day, and these are going to be the last Christmas stickers seen until December of this year. So when we got home, we had to de-Christmas our house because before we had left to go on vacation, my husband was like, oh, don't you want to take everything down? And I said, oh my gosh, no, because we left the day after Christmas. And A, I wasn't in the mood. And B, it just, I didn't want to take everything down the day after Christmas. So anywho, when we got back after our week's vacation, sorry about the glare, we ended up taking everything down. So we took a couple of hours out of our day when we got home, and we just put everything away. So that felt good to have, our house back and have Christmas cleaned up and get on with the start of our new year. And then here are more of those painted painted papers that I had gotten, and I added a few little things to them. But I had been watching online Cat Hand's Mixed Media Morsels series that she just started this year, so at this point I couldn't wait to begin. And I'll get into that more, I think, a little bit later. And then we just, the rest of the day, poor Big Handsome, he wasn't feeling well, so we just, were watching some things on Netflix. And then this day here was a Sunday, and so my daughter had wanted to just have a girls' day out, and we went up to a mall. And I don't really, get out that much. So, yeah, going to the mall is kind of a big deal for me. And so, yeah, the two of us went out, and she had some, gift cards, Christmas gift cards that she wanted to spend. And so we had a snack at the Cheesecake Factory while we waited for the stores to open. And then we went by Lush and got some bath bombs, which I was so excited to go to Lush because I've seen it all over YouTube, and how great it is and whatever. And but I was slightly disappointed because the Lush store that we have here is a lot smaller than what I've seen online. So, and you kind of like, if you want a bath bomb, and what those are these they're these round things that you throw in the bathtub and they fizzle and bubble and, whatever, make your bath smell really pretty and all that. And they have like a bazillion kinds, and of course you could order them online, but it's like you can't smell them, So what if you order something that's doesn't smell good, or you don't like the smell of it, So anyway, and then we also went to Sephora because she had a gift card, and so yeah, we spent a lot of time in there because she likes to just shop. So anyhow, yeah, we had a really nice day. And again, these are the distress stains. I love pink and orange together. And yeah, so we had a really nice time together, and I was glad that we were able to get out and do that. And then this day here is a Monday, and I've started also, like, I don't do, the header up at the top anymore. So I have a stamp, and it's just as easy for me just to stamp the date on there and be done with it instead of decorating the whole, thing. I'm like really trying to do things differently this year, and I'm trying to, like write down the things that are going on in my life and my kids' lives and my husband's life and our life together, that kind of thing. Because after all, this is a diary of my life. And so, yeah, so I'm doing things a bit differently this year. I'm liking it. I'm still getting used to it. But anywho, I still use the clip art. I still like a lot of color, as you can tell. And I'm trying to use up, what I have. So, yeah, so this day here, oh, my son's car was back in the shop. Oh my gosh, I think it's been in the shop more than it's been out. And I was on the phone today with my BFF, so we got caught up on a bunch of news and different things going on. And then I gave my son a little bit of a trim up on his hair because he was starting work this day. So he got a job, like a part-time job. He works 2 days a week right now at the same after-school care program as my daughter does. So that's nice. And then this day here, I was really thrilled because my daughter had been accepted to my alma mater, and she had gotten her letter of acceptance, so she was really excited about that. And then this day here, again, lots of color and, whatnot, but a quote up here and some, more die cuts that I'm using. And then everybody was back to school. The kids were back in their classes. So yeah, we were starting all that mayhem. And then this I added in because I just think it's so funny. My husband, we were having prime rib or like rib roast or whatever it's called. I don't even know. It was very good, mind you. But he was at work, and so he leaves these like detailed instructions for me. It's just so funny to me. I don't know. It's not that I don't know how to cook. I do know how to cook. But he finds it necessary to leave me explicit instructions. And a lot of times because my memory is so bad these days that, yeah, he needs to like tell me exactly what to do. So I just thought that was really funny. And this was Whimsical Wednesday. Like I said, I'm trying to focus more on what's going on in my life and put that stuff in my book rather than the, a lot of the prompts and that kind of thing. But there are certain prompts, like I love Whimsical Wednesday because a lot of times Lynn's prompts cause me to reminisce. And so I like that, and that is part of my life. So I am going to do some of the prompts, just not focus on the prompts, if that makes any sense. And then I had to go to the school to buy books, and holy moly, they cost an arm and a leg, I'll tell you what. And then it's really frustrating when you get home with these hundreds of dollars of books, only to find out that the store helper people gave you the wrong books. Oh my gosh, I was dying. Yeah, because the bookstore is on campus and it's crazy packed all the time. And they have these runners, so you give them your schedule and then they go run and get the books, right? Like they don't let you, I don't think that they don't let you go and pick out your own books. And so, yeah, so we get home and my daughter tries to, log on to one of her classes and it's not the correct book. So, and my son and daughter were taking the class. So, excuse me, here comes Fred. I'm so sorry. So, they have the same class, so they needed the same book. And oh my gosh, it was just a nightmare. So, anyway, then that day as well, it was Wednesday, so we were doing biology. And we were working on Punnett squares, which is a lot of fun. It's all about genetics and traits and genotypes and phenotypes and all kinds of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. So I enjoy doing that with him. And then this day here, my daughter, it was so funny because my daughter needed, like, for one of her creative writing classes, she needed like 6 books, okay? 6 books. Thank goodness she was able to find them on Amazon for, less money than going actually to the bookstore. And anyhow, so when she got home, I was looking through this stack of books, and one of them is by a lady named Goldberg, and it's called Writing Down the Bones, and it's a really good book, so I snuck it from her, snuck it from her, whatever, however you say it, and she was like, Mom, I need that book to do my homework. Mom, I need my book back. So yeah, so I had taken her book and was reading it, and it is very good. And then this, like, I tried to stamp here, I don't even know why, just for the fun of it, I guess, to see if I could do it. And yeah, it didn't work out too well because these books, like, when you put other things on them, or it's, you have a little bit of bulk, it obviously, the contact is not flat. And so, yeah, anyway, this is a picture of my messy desk. And it's driving me insane, and I just can't seem to get away from it or fix it. I don't know what I'm going to do. Then a great reminder, because that I can do anything, that, it says here you can do amazing things. And my anxiety was at maximum level that day because I needed to go pick up my son at school. So I was anxious about that. And then also the books that we had gotten were not the correct books. So that was really annoying. And I just did not feel like dealing with the nightmare that can occur when going to return books, especially when they've been opened and out of the cellophane. They give you such a hard time. But then this day things were looking up because I actually did have the energy, and my anxiety was, under my belt, so to speak. And so I was able to go to the school and exchange the books without incident. So that was good. Here's just a little bit of decorative washi tape that Cat Hand had sent me. So sweet and so beautiful. She does such a lovely job. And then here's a little tip in here. Oh, this was more about the mixed media morsels that Cat Hand's doing on her channel. And this was number 2, where we did some collage work on a page and then did the letter of our first name. And it's really been interesting seeing how everyone's interpreting all the different prompts, so to speak, or the morsels that Kat's doing. I'm more of like a copier, like if somebody shows me how to do something, then I basically do what they did. So I don't go beyond that. So anyway, that was fun. And then this was 5 on Friday, so we had to use a stamp, which I used up here. And they actually came out fairly well, but it was probably because I had nothing else in the book, so it was relatively flat. Something from Another Country, which these are stamps from Trinidad that I got a couple years ago from some mail that I had gotten. And or maybe, well, maybe it was stamp and then something from another country. So these are two birds with one stone. They're stamps and they're from another country. And then those are the rubber stamps. And then the gold pen is what I wrote the 5 on Friday in and traced around my magazine clippings. So that was that. This day was a rough day. I'd spent most of the day in bed, and it was probably because I was dehydrated. With the illness that I have, I need to drink a lot of water to keep my blood volume up. And I think like the day before, for whatever reason, I'd had like maybe 1 bottle of water, which is like 20 ounces, and that was it. And I'm supposed to be drinking a lot more. So yeah. So I spent the rest of the day in bed, but I was able to read some more of my daughter's textbook. And another one of her textbooks too that I was enjoying was it's called Stephen King on Writing. I'm not a fan of Stephen King at all, but it's a book about his writing process. So that's been interesting as well. And then of course, what's better than 1 car in the shop? 2 cars in the shop. But I'm just, I'm thankful that we have the means to put the cars in the shop and get them fixed. So there's always a silver lining. And then my daughter and my son went out to Sonny's and had lunch together. So I'm just so grateful that they get along and they're friends and they can hang out and all that. And this day here was Sunday, and I had some art time. So I'm using up some of my die cuts, still using clip art, but using up some of my die cuts and whatnot. And so these are some of the projects that I was working on and continue to work on, which is the Fobonichi, Cat Hands Mixed Media Morsels, Shannon Green's and Mass book, a collage journal that was inspired by Gina Ahrens and Packard Eye. And I want to work on my Christmas card book because I bind all my Christmas cards together. So that was that. And then my supply wish list, I had gotten some gift cards. My husband had given me some gift cards for Christmas, and I have yet to spend them. And here it is. By the time you see this flip, it'll be February already, and I have yet to spend them. There are so many things on my wish list, and I go back and forth on the fence, because most of the time I'm thinking to myself, I have so much stuff that really, do I need any more stuff? But then I think, I'd really like to have a real jelly plate, or I'd really like to have, some more paints, or I'd really like to have seam binding so that I can, do some junk journals and have seam binding and, so all those different things. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Because, like I said, on the one hand, I'm in the mood to just get rid of things in my craft room. And then on the other hand, I've got this wish list of more stuff I want to bring into the house. So I don't know how that's going to go. But anyway, okay, I've rambled on long enough. And that is the first week of, because when did this start even? Saturday? So that's been about a week's worth of flip through. And I will catch you later, and I thank you for listening to my ramblings, and thank you for your likes and your comments and your just general sweetness. And I'll catch you next time, and it'll be on a flip.